Here's the revised version of the first section. The future of the Las Vegas Raiders is filled with uncertainty, especially as we approach the 2025 NFL Draft. This is a huge moment for the team. What will they do in the first round? Will they pick a quarterback or go with the best player available? There's a lot of uncertainty about where the franchise is headed, and the draft holds many possibilities. Right now, the Raiders are in the number 2 overall spot, but with 5 games still left in the season, a lot can change. In today's video, we're diving into a hot take. This will be the start of a new video series where we respond to your takes, opinions, and thoughts as part of Raider Nation. Earlier this week, I asked for your opinions on the community page, and I want to make more videos based on what you all are thinking. If you want a chance to be featured in a future video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Today, we're responding to a take from Ryan Hicks, 4,821. His suggestion: start Aiden O'Connell next season and draft Travis Hunter. This take has been getting a lot of attention on social media, and in this video, we're going to explore the idea. Let's assume the Raiders are confident in Aiden O'Connell as their future quarterback, which would allow them to focus on drafting the best available player, like Travis Hunter. So, who is Travis Hunter? Let's quickly dive into his background. He's a two-way player who's made a name for himself as both a wide receiver and a cornerback. Coming out of high school, he was one of the most highly recruited players in the country and is now expected to be a top 5 pick in the draft by many NFL analysts. Travis Hunter was the number 1 overall recruit in the 2022 class. Originally committed to Florida State, he made headlines when he switched his commitment to Jackson State to play under head coach Deion Sanders. In 2022, he became the first 5-star recruit to commit to an HBCU, historically black college and university. During that season, he showcased his versatility, excelling as both an offensive and defensive player. In 2023, he followed Coach Sanders to Colorado, where he continued to shine as a two-way player. Hunter played over 100 snaps in several games, quickly earning a reputation as a lockdown cornerback while also making explosive plays on offense. His standout performances last season really helped him grab the attention of scouts and fans alike. Looking at his numbers for the 2024 college football season, Hunter has been a star on both sides of the ball. On offense, as a wide receiver, he has 92 receptions, ranking 3rd in the nation. His 1,152 receiving yards are 4th in the nation, and his 14 touchdowns place him 2nd in the nation. He averages 7.7 receptions per game and around 96 yards per game, making him a dynamic weapon in Colorado's offense alongside quarterback Shadur Sanders. Defensively, as a cornerback, Hunter has been just as impressive. He's made 32 tackles, 21 solo, 11 assisted, picked off 4 passes, and broken up 11 more. He has 1 tackle for loss and 1 forced fumble. Out of 343 coverage snaps, Hunter has only allowed 20 receptions for 187 yards and 1 touchdown, giving up just 6 first downs. On defense, Travis Hunter has shown elite coverage skills. He's a ball hawk and very physical when it comes to tackling in key situations. Looking at his stats, it's clear that he's dominating both as a wide receiver and a cornerback, something that's almost unheard of at the college football level. His athleticism is off the charts, with exceptional speed, fluidity, and explosiveness. Defensively, he excels with elite ball skills and great coverage. On offense, his hands are natural, his route running is sharp, and he's dangerous after the catch, making him a big play threat every time he touches the ball. All of this has led him to become a potential Heisman Trophy candidate this season. There are very few players in modern football history who've contributed at such a high level on both sides of the ball. When it comes to his NFL draft prospects, most analysts view him as a top 3 or top 5 pick, with some even predicting he could go number 1 overall. His strengths as a player include his rare two-way ability, excellent instincts, and incredible athleticism. He's an all-around playmaker with versatility, able to play both wide receiver and cornerback. However, there are some concerns about his game. One of the biggest questions is his durability, especially considering the high number of snaps he's already played in college. Some also point out that he's a bit on the skinny side for his frame, so he'll need to bulk up for the NFL. Additionally, some teams may prefer him to focus on one position in the pros rather than trying to do both, as they'll want him to specialize and maximize his impact at the next level. When you talk about Travis Hunter, you're talking about a generational talent. His ability to shine as both a wide receiver and a cornerback, combined with the swagger and charisma he brings to the field, has made him a must-watch player. Recently, John Gruden even compared Hunter to the legendary Charles Woodson, which has excited many Raiders fans. As we all know, Charles Woodson had a massive impact on our franchise. But the big question is, should the Raiders draft Travis Hunter and possibly pass on selecting a quarterback in the first round? I really like this take, and it's definitely something worth discussing. For a while now, the Raiders have been linked to quarterbacks like Colorado's Shedeur Sanders and Miami's Cam Ward, especially if we hold a top 2 draft pick. Currently, we're in the number 2 spot, but with how the Raiders have been playing lately, things could change. The team is showing a lot of fight, and it's clear they haven't given up. I still see high effort from the players, and when we look at the remaining schedule, I can see the Raiders pulling out a win or two. The Buccaneers, Falcons, Jaguars, and Saints are all winnable matchups, with our offense looking better under Scott Turner and Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if we win a few more games. I know some fans may not like the idea, but I could definitely see us winning a couple of crucial games. One that stands out is the matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which could end up being a tank bowl type of game that determines the draft standings. If the Raiders win 2 more games and finish 4-13, there's a chance we could end up picking 3rd, 4th, or even 5th overall, depending on how the rest of the season plays out. If we beat the Jaguars, that could really shift things for us in terms of draft positioning. In this scenario, if the Raiders end up outside of the top 2 or 3 picks, we might miss out on Sanders and Ward. Unless GM Tom Telesco decides to get aggressive and trade up, which isn't something he's known for, we might not have a shot at those quarterbacks. So what should the Raiders do in this case? Should they trade up, go for the best player available, or look at the next best quarterback like Jalen Milroe? Maybe even trade back to gain more picks. Personally, if we miss out on Sanders and Ward and Travis Hunter is still on the board, it would be a very tough decision, but one that would be hard to pass up. Hunter is an explosive, dynamic game changer, and adding him to the roster could be a huge boost for the team. Don't get me wrong, Travis Hunter is a great player, and we know Tom Telesco's track record is about taking the best player available. So if Hunter is on the board, it could certainly be a possibility for the Raiders. But when it comes to building a winning team, I believe we need to prioritize the trenches and the quarterback position over adding another skill player. If you look at the best teams in the NFL, they build from the inside out. They focus on strengthening the offensive and defensive lines, and only after that do they target the flashy players like cornerbacks and wide receivers. Without a solid offensive line and a reliable running game, having multiple all-pros at wide receiver or tight end won't necessarily translate to a successful team. Plus, the Raiders already have an all-pro tight end in Brock Bowers, so I wouldn't prioritize drafting another wide receiver before focusing on the offensive line or adding a top-tier running back. This year, it's crucial to get a running back who can help fill the gap left by Josh Jacobs. We need to consider these aspects as we evaluate our draft options. However, we also need a backup plan if the top two quarterbacks are off the board or simply out of reach. If I were the Raiders GM and quarterbacks Cam Ward or Shedder Sanders were available, I wouldn't hesitate to draft them. The Raiders have neglected the quarterback position for too long in recent years. It's been a while since we took a first-round QB, and I think it's time we gamble on one of these young, talented quarterbacks. This isn't a knock on Aiden O'Connell, but let's be real, we're not 100% sure what we have in him yet. Drafting a quarterback doesn't automatically mean O'Connell would be relegated to backup duty. In fact, I think it would benefit both players to have a young, competitive QB room. Competition could bring out the best in both of them. Of course, if we draft a guy like Cam Ward or Shedder Sanders, we'll want them to become the franchise QB since we've invested such a high pick in them. But if we're in a situation where we didn't have to trade up or give up multiple future first-round picks, I think it's a great scenario for the Raiders. We would still have a dependable guy in O'Connell, who has NFL experience and a chip on his shoulder. Remember, he's a walk-on from Purdue, and that type of background gives him a great mindset. This competition would only make both quarterbacks better. If the rookie isn't ready to start in week 1, O'Connell could step in and manage the offense while we develop our new QB. I just want whoever we draft at the quarterback position to face competition. I don't want them to have the position handed to them right away. By having O'Connell and a young quarterback, that's exactly what we would create, a competitive environment. That's how I'd personally approach this year's draft. But Raider Nation, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Should the Raiders seriously consider Travis Hunter in the first round if he's available? Should we consider having Aiden O'Connell as the starter next season and focus on building the roster around him? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That being said, Raider Nation, that's all for today's video. If you're new to the channel and love Raider-related content like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.